Everyone that I know that speaks multiple different languages has a bit of a story of how they came about those languages. Mine was based on pure necessity and the need to speak it to survive in the country that I ended up in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is AB, and today I want to share a bit of a story of how I ended up learning 5 different languages by the age of 25. Now, it's no secret, I'm from Africa, West Africa to be exact. Now, it's actually not that rare for people to be speaking up to, not even kidding, 10 different languages before they've even left Africa. The reason for that is because we have so many different languages coming from so many different cultures, and so to even just live in Africa, you need multiple different languages. And this is one of the pivotal, advantages that I've had in being able to learn as many languages as I have. And the official list stands at 5. What are those 5 different languages? So the first one, by order of how I learned them, is Wolof. Wolof is a language from Senegal, widely unwritten, so you literally have to live in a place that speaks that language to be able to learn it. It's not like the major other languages like Spanish or French. Wink wink, those two are also on my list. So Wolof is a language that's unwritten, so to learn it you have to be from there, or you have to be living there for a certain amount of time to allow you to learn the language. So number 1 is Wolof. Number 2, as you can guess, is French. Now, being someone that was, spent most of my childhood in Senegal, having fled Sierra Leone, which was, war-torn basically, I was able to learn French, which is one of the official languages of Senegal. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that Wolof and French are learned simultaneously. Because education is done in French in Senegal, whenever I went to school, I spoke French. But whenever I came back home and just being around, normal people, not in school, I would speak Wolof. So I learned both of those languages in tandem, and those are my foundational languages that I'm most comfortable speaking. So, like I was mentioning, it is not quite rare in Africa for you to be able to speak multiple languages before you even left the country. Now, as someone who's fortunate enough to leave, say West Africa, because of the war, I ended up here in Australia, Brisbane. Yes, I'm now pretty much Australian, and I live here in Brisbane, Australia. Now, when I moved here, I could not speak English whatsoever. Senegal is one of those countries that do not speak English at all. French is the primary Western language that we like to speak. So when I came here, I had to learn English. And the craziest thing about that is that I had to learn it whilst I was going in high school. So my grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 was spent trying to learn this language. So the third one is English, and as you can tell in this video, is completely done in English. So it's a language that I'm actually quite comfortable speaking overall, and it's kind of my most used language at the moment. Now, the 4th language is a language that is called Creole. Now, in Africa, generally, when there is so many languages that are around each other, eventually those languages sort of merge into a language that everyone can speak. So Creole is a language that has French in it, it has some English word in it, and it has Wolof in it as well. So it's a mix of the languages that allows multiple people from different backgrounds that speak the individual languages to be able to communicate easily, especially when it comes to trade. Now, you might be wondering, why did I not know that language when I was back home in Africa? The reason for that is my mom actually is the one that speaks it really well. So when I moved to Australia, kind of like reconnected with my mom and some other parts of my family from Sierra Leone, because we all just left because of the war. We just fled and just spread out across Africa. Some came to Canada, some came to Australia, which ended up leading me to move here. So my mom was the main helper in rekindling the language of Creole that I kind of already knew, but I just wasn't confident enough in it. So when I joined, the African community here, that language naturally came back. Now, the 5th and final language that I can currently speak is Spanish. Now, you may be wondering, what in the actual hell? Why do I speak Spanish? Now, the story behind that is when I went to university, I studied a dual degree, Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Arts. Being someone that learned English, I thought it'd be a great idea for me to study English as a second language so I can help other people learn English just as I have. And the advantages of me having learned it, I can just give so many different tips to people that want to learn English as well. that led me into linguistics. And when I jumped into linguistics course, and I was like, holy crap, this is a lot more intense than I was expecting. And in fact, it was a speech pathologist course code. So this course was intense, and it was all to do with the study of languages and how languages came about, and in general, how we actually speak languages. I thought that was a bit overkill for what I was trying to do. So I looked around and people were telling me, hey, Spanish is actually another language that is being taught at University of Queensland, UQ, and it's been taught really well. And I thought to myself, after one semester of linguistics, I decided to switch over to Spanish. And there you go. That's how I ended up learning Spanish. And to be honest with you, because of my French background and having learned multiple languages before it, it was actually quite easy to learn. And to my surprise, after graduating and finishing my teaching degree and majoring in French and Spanish, so basically I'm a high school teacher for French and Spanish. From Sierra Leone all the way to Senegal, having picked up those two languages, lost Creole, moving to Australia here, rekindling Creole, but then having to learn English, adding 4 languages in total, and then going to uni just to try and, study, basically led me to learning Spanish, and that was my 5th and final languages. Now, if you're watching this video, you may be curious about how you could potentially learn a language. Now, the most important things that I would tell you to pay attention to is your motivation. If you want to learn any language, your motivation is going to be the primary driving source, especially in languages. That's why people, when they move to certain countries, are able to learn the language over a couple of years, because you just need to if you want to communicate with the people of that place. Now, officially 5 languages makes me a polyglot, which is pretty cool. If you don't know, polyglot means basically you speak 5 languages or more. I believe that's the definition. I hope so. But anyway, I just wanted to share a bit of how I ended up learning 5 different languages by the age of 25, and just the story behind how I was able to do that. If you have any questions about any of those languages, maybe you want to dabble in learning any of those, let me know. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.